Hello golfers, Bryan Pate here. I want to talk about your golf club's center of mass or the balance point. What I do is I tape the golf ball where the golf club wants to balance in space. You can see how the grip end equals the club head end. And I also want to talk about the line of force, or what we're doing to the golf club or the grip in the golf swing. So if I put an alignment rod down on the ground, what I'm going to do is put the club off to my left, off to your right, and I pull along the alignment rod. You can see how the club wants to start lining up the direction that I'm pulling. If I do it out to the right and I pull again, you can start seeing how the ball wants to start following the direction that I'm pulling on. Now, as we're up in space, I could be holding the golf club out in front of me, and if I was pushing this direction with my trail hand, you can see how the golf ball wants to start going that direction because I'm trying to force the head that way. On the trail side, if I was maybe pulling backwards or pulling away from the club, you can see how the golf ball wants to start going the direction that the alignment rod's going. So having some awareness of what that's doing to our golf club and what it's going to do from the top of the swing and throughout the swing. So if we take this golf club up to the top, you'll see some players that are a lot flatter, say Jon Rahm, Ricky Fowler. You'll see some players that have the golf club more on top of their head, and then you'll see some players that are somewhere in the middle. If we start with the player that's on top of her head, and I started to pull down to the golf ball, you can see how that gets the golf club head to start moving in the direction that I was pulling on. From there, we can go ahead and arc that up and around to the left to get the golf ball to move outwards and overtake through the golf ball. If I was somewhere flat and I pulled downwards, you can see how that wants to steepen the golf club shaft. Now if I do that too much or even put a little bit of outward push on it, it could start getting the golf club too far out in front of me. From there it wants to go down and crash into the golf ball. So if you're filming your swings and see what the golf club's doing pitch-wise at the top, that might be an indication of what we're doing to the grip. Now, in previous videos, talked about letting the club fall from the top. So the force isn't necessarily pulling downwards on it. It might be equal of that of gravity, but if I let the club fall and catch it, you can see how it just wants to fall together. If I held the butt end and let the club head fall, you can see how the ball wants to work back behind me. So these are just pictures, concepts to see from the top, what's your golf club doing? Is it working from too flat to vertical? Is it working from a nice position to vertical? What could I be doing? I could be trying to pull this thing into the golf ball, or I could be trying to throw the club head to hit something. From face-on view, if we go up to the top, you can see if we had a nice little backswing, but I was trying to pull this grip to the golf ball, you can see how wide it gets right away. If I took that up to the top again, but I maybe felt in transition that I was pulling something out of my head, out of my ear, like a Q-tip, you can see what that does to the pitch of the shaft. You can see how the shaft stays a little bit more level before it can come around. So if we're seeing something from face on that is standing up right away, do we have a little too much trying to throw or trying to hit in the golf swing? Similar thing down into impact. If we start feeling like we're maybe pulling up too quickly or pushing with the trail hand too quickly, it could get the club overtaking too soon. So timing of this little motion with the concept of letting the club fall, and then from there as I catch it, can I feel like I'm arcing the grip around me a little more up and to the left. That's going to get the golf ball or the club head to kick out and around. Now in this, we don't just want to let the club fall and then toss it. It could leave the face too open in the transition and into the golf ball. So there is a little bit of a twist about the shaft. You can see how the golf ball is moving from more on top of the shaft to a little bit more on that side, away from me of the shaft, to help get that club face pointed down slightly. So now as it swings by, the face is pointing a lot straighter and the ball can take off more on your intended line. So the concepts of what we're doing to the grip and what our balance point is doing in space might give us some awareness of what we're doing to the grip. So what we could do is create some feels and some awareness. If I went up to the top, put the golf ball on top of my head, and from there feel like I pull down slightly, we can see how the club wants to kick back behind me. If I go up to the top, put it super flat to the ground, and I try to pull it down into the golf ball, you can see how the club wanted to kick outwards, trying to hit the golf ball. Now if I go up to the top, maybe it feels like it's more neutral. Now you can see how the club is more falling on the same line, and then from there I can go ahead and toss it. So depending on where your backswing is, what force we're putting on it might help us produce the image and the pictures that we want. Now again, if this was a skier and this was the boat, we're trying to get the skier just not following exactly the direction that the boat's going. So when it starts getting down around parallel to the ground and that boat starts to turn the corner, the skier can kick out and create some speed. So what I'm going to do is take the ball off, create a little bit of feel. Now maybe there's something that's standing the shaft up. There's something that's more neutral, letting it fall. Whatever you want to have in your golf swing, this video is going to help you create some feels or some awareness of what's going on. Right over the picker. So hopefully this video helps determine what's going on in your golf swing. If you have any questions, go ahead and post a comment or question down below and I'll respond back to you. Thanks for watching.